set. Good evening. Welcome to the March 17th Select Board meeting. This meeting will be broadcast live and recorded on Foxboro Cable Access. We'll start with our pledge, and then we'll go into executive session. We will be coming out into regular session shortly after that.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to enter into executive session to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel or to conduct collective bargaining or contract negotiations with non-union personnel regarding the contract for the finance director, Marie Almondova, to discuss deployment and funding of security personnel or strategy with respect to security related to World Cup being held at Gillette Stadium, 1 Patriot Place.
Second. Mark, yes.
Stephanie, yes.
Bill, yes?
Amy, yes.
Debbie, yes.
Hey, could someone shut the door, please? Thanks, man.
Yeah, this
Nobody leave. Okay. All right, guys. We're back in session. Welcome back to the Select Board meeting of March 17th. Start with, is there any citizens' input? Nobody online? Okay. Roughly 7:05, public hearing with World Cup 2026 entertainment license application. Would you guys like to come forward?
Motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none. I believe you said you'd like to have a starting point?
Should I do this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
The Select Board, acting as the local licensing authority pursuant to MGL Chapter 140, Section 181, and Section 183A, and Chapter 136, Section 4, Chapter 141 of the Acts of 2020, Code of the Town of Foxborough, Chapter 229, and also Stadium Rules and Regulations, will conduct a public hearing on Tuesday, March 17th, 2026, beginning at 7:05 in the Gala Meeting Room, Town Hall, 40 South Street, to review the application submitted by FWC 2026 US Inc. to conduct live entertainment and sporting events at the premises submitted controlled by FIFA inside Gillette Stadium. Such activities comprising of 7 soccer matches for 2026 World Cup, along with activity in the parking areas and plazas surrounding the stadium that is incidental to the events being held inside it, both on and between matches. Application for this event is on file at the town manager's office. All interested parties are welcome to attend. Posted in the Foxborough Reporter on March 3rd and March 10th, 2026. And we need a roll call.
Yep.
Second. Mark, yes.
Stephanie, yes.
Bill, yes.
Amy, yes.
Debbie, yes.
Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Gary Ronan. I'm a lawyer at Gulston Stores, and I represent Boston Soccer 2026. With me tonight is Mike Loyne, who is the president of Boston Soccer 2026, and Lou DiSabatino, who is FIFA's host city director for the Boston. I'd like to give just a very brief presentation of our license application, what we're asking for tonight, and then the three of us will answer any questions that you have. I'd like to begin by expressing gratitude. We are very thankful for all of the people, including yourselves, who have worked very hard over the last year and more, and in particular, over the last several weeks, to come together and find a resolution to issues that were presented by this license. You all have worked very hard and done what you need to do to protect the inhabitants, the citizens, and the residents of Foxborough, and we appreciate your efforts, and we appreciate your willingness to work with us to solve the issues that were in front of us. We also want to thank Town Manager Duncan, Chief Grace, Chief Kelleher, and their staffs for putting together the public security plans for this event, figuring out what they needed, how they needed it, and when they needed it, and to work with us to resolve the differences of opinion that we had. There are others who contributed to this effort as well, including public officials of the Commonwealth, the governor, the lieutenant governor, State Senator Paul Feeney, and Congressman Jake Auchincloss, forgive me, Congressman, got involved and helped the parties bridge their gaps and come together with a resolution. And I also finally want to thank Craft Sports and Entertainment, which came to the front and agreed to backstop the financial obligations of Boston Soccer 26, which was a vital component of getting us to where we need to be tonight and putting us in a position where we hope this license can be allowed in a way that is consistent with public safety and does not expose the town to any unnecessary risks. All this hard work and these efforts have resulted, as I believe the members of this board know, in a letter agreement dated March 11th, 2026, that provides in pertinent part as follows. First, with respect to funding for equipment that is required for these events, Boston Soccer 2026 has paid into an escrow account that's held by the town an amount slightly in excess of $1.5 million. That money was paid last week. It's in the escrow account today and is available so that your public security folks can get all of the equipment they need when they need it, bar none. With respect to paying for staffing, police staffing, fire staffing, other security measures, the letter agreement provides, as I think you all know, that there are 4 dates in May, June, and July, where there will be invoices and estimates provided by the town to Boston Soccer 2026 for staffing that has been, or staffing costs that have been incurred up until that point in time. Boston 2026 will pay those invoices within 1 business day of receiving them. And that's important because that way the town will have the money it needs to pay payroll and other expenses as they come due. And then there'll be a true-up at the end after the World Cup is over, and to the extent that Boston 2026 needs to contribute more, they will do that, or if they've for some reason overpaid based on the estimates, there'll be a refund. So those arrangements should take care of any financial considerations with respect to this license. I should also say, to address the concern or any concern about Boston 2026's ability to make good on these financial obligations, Craft Sports and Entertainment has entered into a separate letter agreement with Boston Soccer 2026 in which it commits to advance to Boston Soccer 2026 the money it needs to meet its obligations to the town. And in a separate letter, Craft Sports and Entertainment has committed that it will not terminate its obligations under that agreement until the World Cup is over, unless the town were to consent otherwise, and that the town can enforce against Craft Sports and Entertainment its obligations under that agreement. So you're protected in that way too. All right, so let me turn to the basics of this event, right? What we're talking about here is an application for an event license for 7 World Cup soccer games that will be held in June and July of this year at Gillette Stadium. There are 5 of them which are called group stage matches. There's one that's a round of 64 match and one that's a quarterfinal match. I was curious about this. If anybody else is curious, I'm told that there is a possibility that the U.S. team could end up playing here in one of those later matches, although it's remote. So that's good. There also will be what they're calling the stadium fan experience that will precede each event. It will be for ticketed patrons only. It will be in one of the parking lots. It's called parking lot 22, which is just to the west, sort of on the north side, to the west of the stadium on the north side, kind of behind the Patriot Place stores. And there will be an experience there where people who arrive early to the game can go and enjoy their time there before they go into the stadium. Town council has worked with the chairman and other members of the town to put together a draft license for your consideration tonight. We have reviewed it and agree that it is an appropriate license that should address all of your concerns about granting this license. As you know, event licensing under Massachusetts statutes and under your local regulations for the stadium is all about protecting health, safety, order, and avoiding nuisance. And so I just want to talk about briefly the way this license will address all of those concerns. First, with respect to security, your chiefs, Chief Grace, Chief Kelleher, and your public security officials have, over the last year and more, developed a robust and very carefully planned public security plan that will guarantee that these events can be held safely. You heard Chief Grace, when we were here 2 weeks ago, explain to you the long experience that he and his team have holding events just like this at Gillette Stadium. And we have confidence, and I think you can have confidence too, in their abilities and their planning, and know that their plans will make sure that these events are held safely. And I do want to be clear about one thing. We're not cutting any corners here. We've agreed to pay for and fund every single part of the obligations, both equipment and staffing, that the chiefs want for the security plan. With respect to traffic and public transportation, there is a traffic management plan, so-called TMP, that's been developed for these events. That has been submitted to the Massachusetts Department of Transportation, and MassDOT has approved that plan. Their approval came about, I think it was 13 days ago. So that will ensure that traffic management is appropriate. In addition, for this event, there will be more robust MBTA service and bus service than you normally get for events at the stadium, including large football games. The estimates that we have is the MBTA believes that they can accommodate about 21,000 patrons arriving to the stadium for each of these games. And the bus service, which will run from Boston and also hotels in the region, can accommodate about 10,000 more patrons. So you're going to have more robust public transit options to bring people here, which will, of course, reduce the number of cars and make the traffic impacts lower. With respect to many other things, these are going to be addressed in exactly the same way that they're addressed in the event licenses you issue for other events at the stadium. So, for example, parking is going to be addressed exactly the same way as it is at other stadium events. Only ticketed patrons can go into the parking lots and that sort of thing. Noise. FIFA is going to use the existing equipment, monitoring equipment and procedures that are in place at the stadium and that are employed under all the event licenses you issue for the stadium. And they're going to have the same obligations with respect to making adjustments if they're necessary and monitoring complaints and time restrictions as well. So, they're not going to play at 3 a.m. With respect to public health issues, restrooms, water, wastewater, debris, again, public health department inspections, again, all those are going to be handled the same way they are in your other event licenses for the stadium. I mentioned complaints, but just to come back to that for a moment, the license the draft license requires FIFA to have a hotline or other alternative. So there's a procedure where people can submit complaints if they have any during the events, and then FIFA will be obligated to address them. That's the same way it works for other events at the stadium. And the last thing I'll touch on is insurance. Normally you have insurance from the stadium owner. Those policies don't apply here because the stadium owner is not putting on these events. FIFA has obtained its own insurance that has substantially the same coverages, and yesterday, I believe, FIFA submitted its certificate of insurance to the town to confirm that the insurance is all in place. So all of that information, I think, allows you to find that these events and this license can be issued and these events can take place consistent with health, safety, order, and without nuisance. And the other data point you have to establish this is the Stadium Advisory Committee. The Stadium Advisory Committee reviewed this license application a few days ago, and they voted unanimously to recommend that this board issue this event license. I have just two more things I would like to say. The first is I just want to mention the significant public benefits that come from having these events in Foxborough. There is going to be substantial, both direct and indirect, economic benefits to the town. So in terms of direct economic benefits, as you know, under the arrangements with the stadium, the town gets a ticket fee for events at the stadium. The ticket fees for these 7 games are going to be about $1.5 million. That's direct revenue that's going to come to the town from these events. There also will be, we believe, significant tax revenue for things like hotel taxes, meal taxes, and things like that will come. And along with those, of course, comes the increase in business that your local businesses are going to get. Hotels, restaurants, bars, retail. Because you're going to have all these people coming to town, they're going to do some shopping. They're going to go out to eat. And your local businesses are going to benefit from that, which is a real benefit that I think is worth considering in this context as well. The last thing I want to say, just to close my remarks, and then we'd love to take your questions and address anything that you have any concerns about, is that I want to recognize that holding a World Cup soccer game, or 7 World Cup soccer games, is not easy. It's hard anywhere you do it, whether that's Foxborough or anywhere else. And it's required, as we recognize, a tremendous amount of hard work from a lot of people over an extended period of time. But it's worth it because of the event, because of the benefits that I was just touching upon, and also because you're bringing the excitement of having World Cup into the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and into Foxborough in particular. And I think it's an opportunity for us in the Commonwealth to show the world who we are and how we operate, for you in the town of Foxborough to show the world who you are and how you operate, and to demonstrate that that Foxborough is a place where people ought to want to come when they want to put on significant world-class events like the World Cup. So with that, we'd ask you to grant the license, subject to answering any questions that you have.
Questions? Lynn?
No, I think we've, meeting after meeting, putting everything together. I think I just want to reiterate one comment. You touched upon it. I want to speak. I'm pretty sure I can speak for the board here when I do want to say thank you to Bill, thank you to Paige, Katie, the chiefs, our town attorneys, because as you mentioned, there's been a lot of time and effort put into putting this together, and how our town government works. When we follow Massachusetts state law, we can't all be in a room and with these negotiations. We can only come into executive session or sit at this table, and Bill can't call us each and fill us in on what's going on. So I do want to say thank you. I'm pretty sure I would be saying thank you from our whole board for all the time and effort that you put in, Bill, along with everybody else that's been part of it, because that's not how this works. We rely on you guys to come back, give us the best information for us to make this decision tonight. So I think we would all thank you very much. We know it's been lots and lots of hours. Bill's recently retired, but I don't think he feels like he's been retired the last 6 months. But I just want to say thank you from us for all the time and effort.
So before we close out, I'd like Chief Grace to come up and just confirm that you're comfortable with the way the safety plan has been laid out now.
Good evening, everybody. Mike Grace, Police Chief in Foxborough. So as we can see, we're in a good spot tonight, way better than the last couple of weeks. But when we talk about what's been happening with the municipal finance work-throughs, the security planning that's been ongoing for this event has never stopped. As mentioned here, it's been going on for 1.5 years, and we're in a great place. As a Tier 1 rated event, the requirement by the federal government to throw assets and resources at these events has been substantial. So we are working with all of those federal agencies, the Colonel Noble of the State Police, I talk to on a regular basis. We have their full support from the Massachusetts State Police. I have been to the Norfolk County Chiefs. I'm off to the Central Mass Chiefs as well. Their buy-in and their commitment to help support this from a regional level, they are all in, and we are in a great spot to host 7 amazing events here in Foxborough, where we will be the limelight of the world. These matches will bring an excitement that this town has never seen, and I bet you in the next, what are we at, 89 days at this point, we'll see the ramp up, and we're in a great spot from the security standpoint.
George Bell, do you have anything you'd like to add from the Stadium Advisory?
No, as we had said, the Stadium Advisory based on the...
George,
Come up.
George,
Sorry.
at least come up to the speaker.
The Stadium Advisory would just like to say that based on the public safety's well-thought-out and flexible, multi-layered security plan, as well as the Select Board's successful resolution of the timely payments for reimbursement and expenditures for equipment and personnel, recommends that the board approve the license.
Thank you, George. Are there any other questions or comments?
No, but don't forget it's a public meeting.
To close the.
You have to close.
Oh, and
Somebody
ask
from the
it.
floor.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Is there, sorry, is there anybody on the floor who would like to ask any questions?
Yes, please.
Please state your name and address. You want to come up? You want to come up to the? No, you have to go to a speaker. Sorry.
At the podium.
Podium.
Podium. Oh,
Yep.
goodness. How exciting.
Special tonight.
Yeah, I do. Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Yep. Good evening, my name's Ian Cox. I'm a resident of Foxborough. Chair, members of the board, I want to start by saying, as you can probably tell from my accent, I'm a huge fan of the World Cup. I've got tickets to 2 Scotland matches here at the stadium this summer, and I'm following Scotland to Miami, where they will undoubtedly defeat the mighty Brazil. I can't wait. And I want to commend the board for securing the financial commitments that you did. You held firm, and it looks like the town got what it needs, which I completely supported also. But I feel obligated to speak tonight because funding wasn't the only gap. As of today, 88 days before the first match at our stadium, there's no published plan telling 65,000 ticket holders how they get to the stadium or how they get home. We've heard this evening about a traffic plan, MBTA and bus service, the first I've heard of it this evening. We've heard about a fan fest to be held at the stadium, the first I've heard about this evening. Those without details soon, we might have tens of thousands of participants holding tickets going to the stadium. The MBTA is attempting to move somewhere between 4 and 20 times the biggest number of fans that it's ever moved before. There are no trains to or from Providence planned for any of the games. We heard about buses for the first time this evening. Folks in the Tartan Army, as I'm sure you're all aware of, have booked over 30 buses on their own so far to get from Providence and surrounding areas. The MBTA plans to charge for tickets, which I understand is a breach of the contractual obligation to provide free travel for ticketed fans. The opening match is at 9 p.m. with fans leaving after midnight, and we still don't have a published plan for how to get to or from the stadium. I know our Chief of Police and our Fire Chief have exceptional plans to manage fans when they arrive in Foxborough, but neither they nor the fans here are being supported in their journey. Some of them have already booked travel from thousands of miles. For context, Dallas has a fully funded fan festival with 100,000 capacity running 34 days. Philadelphia held a City Council oversight hearing with sworn testimony over a year ago. Kansas City has committed $102 million to their programme. For Boston, Mayor Wu indicated last week that Boston's Fans Festival has now been reduced to 5,000 people 25 miles from the stadium, over 16 days. There hasn't been a single legislative hearing, a council oversight session, and the only public document on World Cup planning is the OEPSS report, which was produced in January, which reads, frankly, as a wish list of things that need to be done. And Boston 2026 has raised $10 million. Fans who are coming from thousands of miles away to enjoy our town, our city, and our state deserve to know how to get the most from the World Cup and to be safe. This board has done its job, and I'm asking for Boston 2026 to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
I think to somewhat address your concerns, obviously we've had these same discussions. Boston 2026 has been working with the state and the city of Boston. As you know, the Fan Fest, for the most part, are supposed to be in Boston, so that's outside of our purview. But I do know Boston Police and others are working on the requirements for that side of it after conversations I've had with some of them. You're right, there hasn't been a lot of information, but again, they haven't had a license yet, so maybe a little premature to announce what you're doing until you have it. Hopefully, as you said, though, for any of the communities that are coming, whether it's Scotland or Haiti or any of those, that basically they do get the information out to their supporters soon. I agree the transportation thing, has been a little bit of a concern. We were concerned with no buses coming out of Rhode Island, but we kind of figured what would happen is groups would end up doing their own thing. The beauty of busing and the trains, quite honestly, is it does dramatically reduce the amount of volume of cars that will be coming in, so it's a little easier in a sense to manage. And it is something that's happened here in the town before with Army-Navy games where busing was a large way of transportation coming through here. So again, we as a community have done our job. We've basically put in all the safety and security issues that we have needed. We've protected the taxpayers, and Boston 2026, FIFA, have a fair amount of work to do between now and the June 13th first game that's going to come here. The Fan Fest that you mentioned that was going to be at the stadium, that's really just a day activity, kind of like happens to some of the football games where there are, some small events that are handled inside the parking lot. It's not meant to be the Fan Fest like you see typically and would hope to be seeing in Boston. Again, I can't speak for how Boston's handling that and what they're doing and where they're getting their funding. That, quite honestly, wasn't this board's concern, and we've addressed our concerns. So a lot of good points on your point. I'm hopeful that Boston 2026 and FIFA have heard that and understand what they need. I've been at a couple of their meetings and seen that there is a significant amount of planning going on in the background, but now it is time, obviously, that it comes forward. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Is there anybody else? Okay. Like to vote on the license?
Sure. I need to close the
What?
public
Oh,
hearing.
close the public hearing, I'm sorry.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second. Mark, yes.
Stephanie, yes.
Bill, yes.
Amy, yes.
Debbie, yes.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to approve the application submitted by FWC 2026 US Inc. to conduct live entertainment and sporting events at the premise controlled by FIFA inside Gillette Stadium, such as activities comprising 7 soccer matches for the 2026 World Cup, and to issue a license in the form as reviewed by this board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none? Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take 5 minutes to clear the room. Clear the room.
Yeah, we'll take a 5-minute break. Chief. Start it up.
Back up. Deb is going out the door.
Steph.
Is Maria on CIP or am I doing CIP?
Yeah.
I think just you, babe. All right.
Yep.
Appreciate that.
Okay, let's get back.
Okay.
Okay, next on the agenda is the capital improvement request.
Okay.
You see it there, we're live. Okay,
You want me to do that?
sure.
Okay. In your community, although Amy, I know you don't have that, we do have a file here, so I can go through. The Capital Improvement Committee met on Saturday, March 7th, on Zoom, as is typical, and reviewed numerous requests for CIP and ended up with, I can run through the requests. The first was for information systems, that's IT basically, $200,000 taken from free cash. For municipal buildings, it was $25,000, and that's for ADA upgrades and improvements. I could speak to that because that was me, but we did have a study done evaluating our compliance with accessibility, and we want to make sure that we continue to plug away. It was thousands of dollars to do it all at once, but we did put $25,000 in to start beginning the process through the facilities team. The police department has requested a vehicle replacement for lieutenant at the cost of $67,000. The typical yearly engine and ambulance lease payments will be paid, but those are paid out of the ambulance fund, not free cash. This is listed here for the Joint Public Safety Building as fire patio repairs. It sounds a lot more glamorous than it is. It probably should have been roof. What we learned it sounds like a patio, but what it is there was a structure, sort of like a deck structure put over a flat roof. And really, this isn't for the purpose of grilling out there. Really, what they're doing is repairing the roof. We're not even certain they're going to put back anything on it. It was something that's not really used, but it was comical, the title that was put in, because we all thought the fire department was getting a patio. Nice. There's a chiller replacement. That's for their HVAC. That's for $200,000, and that is also free cash. The school department had multiple requests, and we ultimately ended at $2,136,728 for, and that includes the Taylor School full renovation feasibility study of $1 million, Taylor School sewer connection for $150,000, the Ahern Library refresh Phase 2 for $33,000, Stafford Field renovation, $30,000, high school turf field replacement of $25,000. To note, there was a request for significantly more, but we had to cut that down to do some maintenance on it in hopes of getting another year out of it, but we'll likely see that coming up soon.
So it's really repair, not replacement at
Yeah.
this point?
What's the replacement roughly?
About 800,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
was
it's-
gonna guess 6, but it might have been 5 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, it's coming up. High school gym doors and equipment, that was $28,000. That was related to security, very important. Buses and vans, $379,128, and that did represent a reduction of one bus, right, Bill? They ended up because we hadn't gotten one from this year yet, so we were able to still work towards getting the regular number of bus replacements, but we used last year's money because we still hadn't gotten one yet. Technology and networking is $419,600. That had to do a lot with COVID. We're coming up on 6 years since they had to buy all the new laptops at one time and all other sort of support systems. This kind of all hit at once, so it was a big number right now. Let's see, office copiers, $42,000, and high school classroom furniture, $30,000. So that was just over $2.1 million, all from free cash. Over Public Works, the South Street Route 106 intersection construction, we all know that intersection is very important. That's $425,000 out of free cash. The lighting, yes, sir?
I'm sorry. Did you say reconstruction? So we have a plan already?
We do.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yes.
Okay,
Last year, we did the design.
Oh,
and so
right.
now we're doing the actual construction.
okay.
Yes.
Just out of curiosity, are they
Yeah,
just
they're-
straightening it out a
Yes.
little bit so you don't
Yes.
come in at an angle? Okay.
I think I can't remember now whether it's offset tees or making it better, but what they're doing is to make it not what as dangerous it is today.
Sight lines are better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Payson Field lighting upgrades for $150,000. That's coming from free cash, and Recreation is pitching in some funds from their revolving account. Tree and park equipment of $100,000. Tree and park one-ton dump truck, $145,000. A 10-wheel dump truck, $390,000, and a utility truck for $125,000. So that's $1.335 million for the highway department, Public Works. The library requested $30,000 from free cash for the teen programming room. We're seeing considerable attendance in the afternoons after school at the library. It's great for them to have a place to go. Water infrastructure improvements of $1 million. That comes out of water receipts. Vehicle replacement for the water department, $215,000. Again, that's also water and sewer receipts. So water and sewer enterprise fund requests, we're at $1.215 million. The total enterprise, that represents the total enterprise fund request. For Chapter 90, the street reconstruction, that's at 1.25. That's paid for out of Chapter 90, Fair Share, and TNC. Those are TNC is what we get from our Uber drivers and the transportation network charges, Uber and ride sharing. And then street and sidewalk improvements, we're out of free cash, $350,000 will go towards that. For a total for highway improvements with the meals tax and whatnot is $1.6 million. The grand total for CIP requests was $7,374,547. And as I said, the funding sources were free cash and meals tax, ambulance, recreation, Chapter 90 and fair share, transportation network companies, water receipts, and sewer receipts. And we did not spend every penny. That's the other thing. We actually, when we were working on it, we decided to leave money in the coffers so that, not a lot, but just enough so that it wasn't, we were going up spending frivolously. We wanted to be ready for the fall in case there are additional requests. We have a little buffer there.
In addition, there was a number of items that were dropped off.
Yes.
A few $1 million worth, so it's not, as Paige said, the turf field actually went from over 800,000 down to the 25. It's going to buy us hopefully a year, so they have time to develop a full plan as to the carpet and what it's going to take to replace. It's, I believe, almost 15 years old, which typical life is about 10. So they've done pretty well with that. Hopefully the 25 will help them to fix any tears in the carpet and maybe refluff and re-support the material underneath it. But I think other than that, we had to make some decisions that were probably not comfortable. I think all the departments were very good about the changes that were made, so. Is there a motion on this?
Motion to approve the FY '27 capital improvement requests.
Second.
Are there any questions by anybody before we?
No.
No? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none? Okay, next. Is that you?
That's me? Okay. First update has to do with strategic plan. The Polco surveys went out, and the Polco has received 211 already electronically, and they expect more because the paper copies will start coming in. And soon, Maura and others will be pushing out that everyone will have the opportunity to fill it out. Again, we're still in the statistically significant phase. We do have some listening sessions being planned where Reptelis will be coming out. The first one, and again, these will be announced, so don't feel you have to memorize them now, but on Tuesday, April 14th in the morning at the community center, we're going to have a listening session targeted to those who don't work or are able to come during the day, stay-at-home parents, seniors, remote workers, etc. They'll be at the community center around 10:15 in the morning. Then at 3 o'clock, we hope to have another one at the library. This is trying to capitalize on the teens that are there. So anyone's there, but we're really trying to get some high schoolers, some children, parents involved. That's also on Tuesday. At 7 p.m. that night on the 14th, the Reptelis will be coming in here to talk to the select board. Then the next morning on Wednesday at 9:30, they'll be coming to the department head meeting. At noon, we'll have another listening session at the community center. We will be inviting anyone has to do with economic development, although again, all of these are open to anyone. So we don't want to even though we sort of target them, that's just our goal to get people to come, but anybody is welcome. So we'll be inviting the EDC, the Foxboro Common Business Collaborative, the Chamber, other parties that we think want to be involved. And then that evening on Wednesday, the 15th, we'll have an open invite for anybody to come, and that will be held also at the community center. So stay tuned for more details on that. One of the things I would request of this board, as you think about it, is a couple of things. Is we have who we should invite to the listening sessions. In fact, what we're probably going to do is give you golden tickets. You each get like maybe 5 tickets, and we ask that you invite someone and try to get them to come. Because again, if you invite them and there's sort of some accountability, they might come. So it's very important that we get folks involved. And also, we're going to be when Reptelis is in town, they're going to be doing interviews. So they'd like to sit down with about 15 to 20 people from a broad spectrum of the community. So if we've been thinking, but we'd love the board to give us some thoughts on sort of who you think would be good for them to sit down and talk with. So don't expect anything now, but if you give that some thought and you have some emails, I'll probably remind you. I also want to remind you about your homework for 75 Central Street. Yes, we have some evaluations to be done. That's coming up at the next meeting, so please take a look at that. Let's see, town meeting. We just learned today from Marlo, the chair of the AdCom, that there's consideration being given to actually adding an article to this year's town meeting to reduce the size of the AdCom down to either 11 or 12 members. At first, it was being paused for the fall, but now it looks like it might go forward. So Marlo asked that I take the temperature of the board to see if you might be willing to open up the warrant for that one article at the next meeting, and I didn't think there'd be an issue, but he's willing to come in and talk about it.
They have?
They have 15 now, but there's never been really 15. So we're having trouble with quorums right now.
Oh,
So
'cause
it would
it's
be
based on the
prudent to go
15.
smaller. So I know Marlo and I think Frank Spillane, the moderator, is going in to meet with AdCom to discuss it, and we'll have more information. But it sounds like now they would like to do
The
it.
number's 15, but they don't have 15.
They do not have
Right.
15.
Yeah.
So if they don't have 8 or whatever, 7,
8.
8 don't show up,
Yeah.
They don't have a
Had some
quorum.
challenges.
Yeah.
So fortunately, they're working on that. So does anybody have a concern if they try to do that okay. Great. Just a reminder, all residents, the annual town meeting warrant review is going to be held on Monday, April 27th at noon, but that's also always available on Foxboro Cable Access. So assuming you're busy at noon, you can always watch it on demand on Foxboro Cable Access's YouTube channel. And then annual town meeting is May 11th at 7 p.m. For the World Cup, I think we all saw what happened, but I'll just remind everybody about short-term rentals and parking rentals, that they're not allowed. I also do want to address, I know the board and I got quite a few comments about the traffic on Saturday as a result of the Legacy soccer game. The police chief is here. I don't even have to give the update. I was going to say, I talked to the police chief. Let's let the police chief talk about what happened.
Back again. So Saturday, we had the Legacy Women's inaugural game kickoff. We knew our numbers, the 27,000 was the expected. We had a very late arrival show up. It was a medium setup, which we usually run for like Monster Jam, using those numbers. Everybody came late. We had a pedestrian strike, and Route 1 North by the entrance of P1 slowed things down. The GPS has put everybody onto the side streets, and the flow into the parking lots was just too slow. So for an hour, we definitely had traffic. But I do tell everybody, we do have a stadium, we're always gonna have traffic. But was not ideal. I think a lot of people were so excited to get to the match. They just didn't leave early for, the time. They had already pushed back the kickoff twice, but it was nationally televised, so they couldn't move it anymore. So we ended up with some traffic around town. Obviously, when 140 doesn't work, everything else seizes, and everybody's GPS pulled them off the, off of 495 coming through Rentham. And we ended up with gridlock. At that point, it doesn't matter how many police officers you have. If Route 1's not flowing, you're gonna have traffic on the side streets. So that's the essence of our issue on last Saturday. We had a Revs game Sunday, no one would know, right? With 9,000 people, but.
What time was the event, Chief? What time was the game?
Kickoff was 12:50, 12:45, give or take. So it wasn't early for a Saturday. Again, lots open 4 hours early. No one showed up 4 hours early for sure. So
But this gave people the perception that this is how it's going to be when World Cup comes here. That was, the comments. Oh, my God,
lot
is
of
this how it is
chatter.
now?
yeah, no.
For
No,
this
so,
a legacy game?
again, when you bring 63,000 people into Foxborough with really, what I call infrastructure that was never designed, there's always going to be traffic. We're not gonna get away from but World Cup, the messaging will be get here early, 4 hours early. We'll have a high number of transportation, public transportation. I think we're already looking 200-300 buses. So, we could have 30,000 people in cars, but we would have a large setup all the way to 95 to 495, running 4 lanes of traffic versus 2. So, and we'll have all the offices on the side streets to lock down Beach Street and stuff like that, so. Not gonna be quite that bad, okay? But I know you'll call me if it is. We get 7 shots at it too, okay?
You'll get it right.
Lastly, I'll just mention that we have some jobs available. We have a few this time. We have Tree and Parks Division laborer driver, a substitute library assistant, a council on aging substitute van driver, and then the recreation department is posting their summer jobs, and the deadline is March 27th. So if anybody's seeking counselors or lifeguards, please go to the town of Foxborough's website under human resources.
Okay. Cool.
Select board updates. Anybody have anything they would like to raise?
Well,
Okay. Action items.
Okay. Motion to approve the Craft Sports and Entertainment Group additional data sheet for the Brazil versus France International Soccer friendly match on March 26, 2026, starting at 4 p.m. under the 2025 annual entertainment license.
2026.
No.
Yeah. Oh, 2025.
2025, because we,
Chief, why'd you leave? What's
Yeah, well, I didn't know the.
No, but it's technically the 2025.
Yes.
Yes,
It's before.
sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is the road to the World Cup, this game, this match. So we're a little behind on the the licensing of this event. Usually we would have this done a couple of months ago. I think we got, working with the craft group, getting past the Super Bowl, we got pushed back, and there were some tactics, or not so much tactics, there were some trials that we wanted to mimic in this match at a low volume in regards to queuing pedestrians, looking at some of the gate security, testing some of the ticket checking at the parking lots. So we've built all of those models, and though we had to work with the promoter and the craft group to authorize that, it takes a little bit of time to work it through, but we have all those agreements, and we'll be testing some of our operations at a lower scale for this match. So we're in a good spot to approve this license now.
What's
We weren't-
What's the assumed attendance on this?
Oh, I think there's still 1,000, about 1,500 tickets still for sale, so it's almost sold out.
Okay,
The whole,
The whole thing, yeah, 64,000, yep.
okay, thank you.
all right, so
All right.
we need to vote.
And it too will challenge us with the time if you see it.
Yeah,
So we'll get some good analytics out of it with the traffic and messaging and how we get the word out there. Well, the promoter gets the word out there.
yep. Thanks.
I support it.
Second.
Well, we haven't
No, we haven't.
had,
I thought you started with it. I apologize.
good.
Go ahead.
No, you have to do
You've
it.
got to make
I
the,
read it.
You read the
Motion
motion?
to- Yes, I did.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
that was right. Say it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none.
Okay. Motion
You got
to
a cold.
approve
You had stuffed up.
a change of hours application for Colwyn Management, Inc., doing business as Renaissance Hotel at Patriot Place and Hilton Garden Inn at Patriot Place, located at 28 Patriot Place, to serve alcohol starting at 10 a.m. on Sundays.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none.
Motion to appoint Sophia Manos to the Cable Television Advisory Committee for a term to end May 31st, 2027.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now, their license is coming up pretty soon, isn't it?
Which one?
Cable's license with
They
us?
do. They have it under review. I sent it to them a while ago.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Is that the Mark Stolba thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Motion to approve National Grid to install one JO pole on, these are my favorite. JO pole on Chestnut Street beginning at a point approximately 175 feet northwest of the center line of the intersection of Mechanic Street and Chestnut Street. National Grid is proposing to install a new 50-foot Class H1 pole labeled P27-50 for the purpose of installing a new recloser. The pole will be installed between P27 and P28 on West Chestnut Street on the same side of the road.
Second.
Can anybody explain what that means? No?
No.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to accept the donation from Foxborough Historical Society in the amount of $500 to the Veterans Services gift account in memory of Paul Godin.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None?
Motion to accept the donation from Partners in Patriotism Fund in the amount of $1,630.84 to the Veterans Services gift account to fund a gaming system console for the Veterans Lounge.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None?
Motion to approve a Class 2 auto license application from JNE Auto, Inc., doing business as Foxfield Auto, located at 100 Central Street, with the conditions set forth by the Planning Board as they granted a special permit for the sale of not more than 3 vehicles as an accessory use.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to approve Select Board meeting minutes from February 27th. I'm sorry, let me start over. Motion to approve Select Board meeting minutes from February 17th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion to approve Select Board meeting minutes from March 3rd, 2026.
Second.
Motion.
All in favor? I'm sorry, all in favor? Aye. Yep.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Sign.